Hey guys, and welcome back to the next video in our series. Today's video is going to focus on those unit lessons. So to go ahead and get started, I just went ahead and signed in on my n2y.com page, and it brought me here to welcome. So I'm going to head over to my menu tab, and the unit lessons are going to be found under Unique Learning System, and they are called unit lessons. Previously, they were called monthly lessons. So now I gotta retrain your brain to learn the new terminology. Once we get onto this page, you will see all of the unit lessons. Previously, if you've been using Unique for quite some time, you know that we only had 2 units displayed at any given time. So if there was something you really liked, you kind of felt the need to download everything or print those documents, save them on a thumbnail, whatever the case may be. Well, now Unique has released every unit lesson for the entire school year. So you have a lot of flexibility and can use your creativity to kind of plan when you want to work on that specific unit. All of our units are aligned to our state standards, and so it takes a lot of the guesswork out of it for us. Coming on down here, you'll see different options for viewing the unit lessons. You can either view it as an interactive document, which makes it live, or you can download stuff as a PDF and read it later. The monthly topics, like I mentioned, are all going to be up here at the top, and the theme of them kind of changes, but the content stays the same, right? So we use a lot of the same vocabulary and symbol supports in each lesson, and a lot of repetition, which is going to promote and help our students to learn those natural cues and new concepts. All of the unit lessons will be covered under content areas such as reading, math, science, and social studies. So again, you're not having to create different things for each subject area. So you will not see the grade bands up here at the top. You are just one grade band per teacher, depending on what you serve. The search for activities button is going to be over here on the left-hand side. This is going to be quick access. So if there's something quickly that you want to find, so you want to work on adding, it'll bring up the different activities surrounding adding, so you don't really have to search through the whole document to find what you need. The lessons are displayed on cards, and it's great because we're not so much focusing on, okay, what the lesson type name is anymore. We actually have that still available in the bottom left corner, so you can have a guide, but the lesson card itself, the title is going to tell us what exactly we are teaching. So that's also a difference. And down here, you can see a button that says View Activities, and it'll actually pull up all of the different activities that are associated with that lesson, right? So we have activity 1, activity 2, activity 3, so on and so forth. So if we're working, oh, and it also shows us all of the state standards as well. So it'll show us those general standards and then those extended content standards. So again, if people are asking you, well, what standards is your lesson covering? You have quick access to that and can easily show people. We have 2 different ways that we can teach that here. We can do the interactive version, which our kids love, and it's great for them to learn. It will read here for us.
What is Mrs. B's class learning about?
And they can select their answer choice. The other option is a new quick add button, which I really like. So if I'm going to use lesson 2 here, I'm going to view activities. I'm going to hit this assign button here, and it'll populate this new window. Now I can either assign it to my whole class, or I could just assign it to one particular student. So if I go ahead and assign to them, I can then pick the dates that I want my student to work on it. So if we give them about a week here. And it says that it is assigned. So now I want to check, because I'm that person, to make sure it really did get assigned to them. So I'm going to head up to the My Accounts tab, go under Students. And again, this is where your student cards get displayed. So for sample student 9, I'm just going to click on the little eyeball here, and it'll show me what this student is going to view. So if I scroll, her activity will appear. And the library books that were selected in the My Plan. We're going to head back into the unit lessons here and show some other things. So over here, we can do things as in little blocks now. So we have the unit overview. And again, this is like our lesson 0. So this is the introductory. If you've never taken the time to read through it, I suggest this is a great starting point. So you kind of learn how we do things or how the verbiage is and unique. And it's great because that allows you to kind of check things out beforehand and how can you get creative and make that lesson your own. The other option we have that's new is that it's broken down by subject. So I can click over here for reading, and it's going to pull up all of the different reading activities. But it's even more so broken down by categories. So we have our fluency and comprehension, our vocabulary, word work. And again, everything has options for interactive or having things as a PDF. That's the same thing with math, science, and the social studies. So previously, these links below were in various different spots, but now you can find them housed under these unit lessons. The suggested monthly unit pacing is a great document to make yourself familiar with. It is a PDF version, and if we click on it, it has lots of lessons and the activities that you are going to be using. So it's a little daunting, but one thing about Unique that's really cool, this pacing guide itself never changes. So no matter what unit you're working on, it's always going to be the same lessons on day 2 of week 1, right? So once you become familiar with it, you can get through the items fairly quickly. It has over 90 different activities that you can do in a month. So again, that is a lot and it's daunting, but you can also pace this yourself, right? You're introducing new topics. It has a new monthly theme, but you can pace this for yourself and your students. But again, once you become familiar with it, you kind of get in that rhythm and it's the same. The other links that I want to bring to your attention here, we have the lesson plan links. So we have the access to all lesson plans and then the lesson plans and activities. These are really large documents. I would caution you against printing them all out, just because the lesson plan and activity is over 1,200 pages. But again, it just gives you overview of every lesson and activity that we are going to be doing in the month. Some other helpful tools and PowerPoints here. We have different internet and video resources that have been selected that kind of go along with the theme. So if you have a lot of students who are very curious and want to learn more about a topic, there is a video for it. We also have a printing guide here, so it'll actually tell you which pages you need to print off of if you want a particular activity or book, and how to print it. There is reading observations. There are supplemental reading lists, so extra reading supports if you want to read it. And something really cool is the supply list here. So it'll kind of tell you for the month what supplies you might need if you're doing the different activities. And again, a lot of the times our parents in our classrooms want to help us. They just don't know how. And so sometimes if it was a unit lesson, I might look at this ahead of time, and if we didn't have these objects laying around the classroom, or I knew I didn't have them around my house, I might send this home, the parents, and be like, hey, we're going to do this cool science experiment. This is from our unit. Here's some materials that we could use. And then if they were able to, they might donate. So definitely take a look at the supply list. It gives a lot of cool ideas. The other options down here, we have the level books. So these are going to be all of the PDF versions of the level books that are found in the unit lesson. So if you find yourself really trying to search for those and it's kind of difficult and you're getting overwhelmed, if you just scroll on down to leveled PDFs, you can find the book that's associated with the lesson. So this is lesson 1, and we have a level A, a level B, and a level C book, all on the same kind of topic. And there's also various articles as well. And then we have our supporting files. So again, this is our monthly or our unit lessons, as they are called now. The awesome thing about these now is that we do have access to these all year. So they're not going to expire or leave until the start of next school year. So definitely take advantage of getting to know all the different themes and picking and choosing and being creative in how you plan these lessons out with your students.